Get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick-tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Question, whole story change. No fear, my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet but the pages speak. Word for word, no added spin. Let it stand, yeah, let that sink in. Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say elected, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you're in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. It is Monday, March 16th. I think I got the date right. I hope everybody's having a great day. I am. So much better. And I want to apologize to everybody for Friday. We'll just talk about that just for a minute. I was reflecting and I'm like, if I have an issue with anybody, just like when you're at your job, don't you hate those emails from your boss? Then they address everybody and it's like, it's one person or one or two people. So I just want you to know I did do that. Any issues that I might have had, they're small, they're not big. I wasn't mad or anything. I was emotional. I was just mostly emotional and it was my fault. It was just me being super sensitive because of actually Thursday. But yeah, I hope you forgive me for little rants that I went on Friday. There really was no big deal and nobody should take anything personally. I love you all. So also, I'm older and hormones are lacking over here. So I have bad days sometimes. So forgive my memory, please, if that ever happens, because, thanks, Meg. Love you guys. I just hate doing that. Although our tagline is real talk over here, right? Okay. So sometimes we have that real talk. All right. I have something fun to show you. Are you ready? Is Tomboy in here? Meg, hello. Karen, hello. Beach Babe. Lucy, there's Tomboy. Oh, Daniel, yay. I saw you. I saw your comment. I'm so glad you're able to join. Is it Danielle? It's Danielle, isn't it? I think I had that issue before. Correct me in the chat. Correct me in the chat. Or let me know if I got it right. Becca, hello. And Christina, I saw you're going to be in and out. That is perfectly fine. All right, you ready? My sister came into town Friday and she brought my birthday gift. My birthday gift. Meet Ophelia. Danielle, thank you. This is Ophelia Honkerton. She is my new porch goose, and she's got a bathing suit top on. Bathing suit top, a bonnet. She has goggles, and she has a towel, and she has, I wish I would have blown this up ahead of time. She has an inner tube. So when I blow this up, she is going to be all in her glory. And I can't put her outside in that outfit right now because we're about to get more snow. But my sister comes in the summertime a lot and we hang out in my pool, and she knows I love summertime. So she got her an outfit. If anybody didn't see, this is Ophelia because I like Taylor Swift and I like Bridgerton. So we went with Hunkerton. Oh my goodness. I am going to have so much fun with her. I'm changing my mind about the name Gerald for the duck because Gerald is a dolphin. I see Geraldina. That would have been hilarious. Geraldina. But I made us our own Gerald. Let me see if I can find it real quick, you guys. Oh my goodness. What did I do? Oh, I got to go here. Yeah. I don't love this one, but I'm working on it. So this is our first draft. Okay. This is our first draft of a Gerald for our show. And we'll get into our topic for the day in a minute, but got to get caught up with you guys for the weekend. Oh, there it is. Now, I did the cinematic, so it made it lifelike. I want it more cartoonish, I think, but here you go. Let's see.
I'm Gerald, and you don't mess with me. I'm Gerald, and you don't mess with me.
I would love it if anybody wants to make one. Please do and share it with me. I have this other one. So I made a Gerald that I really like. Let me see this one. Oh, here we go. I love look at his hat. I put a hard hat on him, you guys. I put a hard hat on him and a clipboard. Oh, it's not saying it. It says, don't question me. See, I messed this one up because I had no voice and I should have done voice. His clipboard says, build me a city. Build me a city. I am never going to stop talking about Gerald. That was the best story ever. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Got to hang out with my sister on Friday, hung out with Carlos on Saturday. And I made lasagna yesterday, cleaned my house. So yeah, that's what's going on over here. We're getting into, I'm going to talk about confidential informants and the complete possibility that that could have been a factor. I will say it like that in the Idaho Moscow murders. And I do want to clarify that everything I discuss on here is my thoughts, only speculations that I am making, hypothesis. All my own thoughts and opinions and everything is alleged. So I'm going to try not to use so many names too, but a couple quick updates today. Not major, but I keep checking on the Nancy Guthrie case. And the last thing I saw was Brian Enton saying they had more video images. They're only like thumbnail images from other cameras. So not just the porch camera. So apparently they got some thumbnail images from the backyard. Okay, that's good. But then he clarified and said, but they weren't during the time she was taken. So I'm like, what? That's why I'm kind of like petered out on. There's nothing to report, number one, on that case. And I'm not into reporting these crazy, I think they're often contradictory statements like, oh, we got thumbnails. Oh, but they're not during the time of the crime, not into that. So if you have heard anything else important about the Nancy Guthrie case, please put it in the chat. The D4VD case, I watched a video where, and I should dive into this a little bit more. The friend, I forget his name. It's a weird name. Someone in the chat will know it. His friend that got arrested because he refused to like show up for the grand jury or something. He is now like railing against David Birch, D4VD, in the murder of Celeste Hernandez Rodriguez. Rivas Hernandez. Sorry. Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Sorry about that. So I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know what's causing that, but maybe he's going to be like spilling some tea about what he knows. So maybe he got a little bit more implicated than he thought he was going to be. So yeah, that's something I'm going to be looking into. Today's show, yeah, I just said, talking about confidential informants. And I'm going to start with my thoughts about that first and where that's coming from. And it's not just coming out of thin air. I pulled up a lot of body cam clips, news clips, resources, things like that, that's going to support this. So before we get into it, we have a good friend of the channel. Let me get this pulled up. Skull Mackay. And I'll tell you the official name of his channel in a second. But he made a video that it's a parody, okay? So please don't take offense about the Idaho 4 case. If you do, this is just in fun. His channel is called Idaho Scandals. So please go to Idaho Scandals. Find all of his videos, watch them, like them. Please follow him and subscribe. Yeah, this is a parody on the Idaho 4 case with, anytime we follow any case, it's not to make fun of the victims, but there definitely are other people in many cases we follow that we poke fun at. We come up with inside jokes. There's often phrases that get said in these cases, and they're humorous. So that's what this is based on. Yes, Beach Babe, are you in my... Beach Babe, do you need my Discord link? But yes, to answer your question. The dances are hilarious. The judge is hilarious. Thanks, Meg.
Slow into the ground. The DNA on the sheet, a single source. The dark mechanical silent force. So the plea is a trap, a gilded cage. Turn and the leaves of a final page. Just a shadow, just a name. In the cold electric vampire game. Do you understand? The question drips, the script is frozen on his lips. Factual basis, the words collide. There's nowhere left for the truth to hide.
That's Hitler.
Snap up the sheet, the print is there, hanging heavy in the sterile air. The lights reflecting the screen, caught in a ghostly dark machine. It's not a choice, it's a line in the code, living down this lonely road. The DNA on the sheet, single source, dark mechanical silent voice. So the plea is a trap, a gilded cage, turning the leaves of the final page. Just a shadow, just a name in a cold electric vampire game. Careful falls, the silence crawls. Heavy bass fade out.
Order in the court. Let's get to the bottom of this. Every detail matters.
All right. Hemi. Hey, Hemi. All right. Skull has so many awesome videos on his channel on different topics with this case. So, yeah, that was funny. Shaking it like she stole it. She's bringing all the boys to the yard. All right. Just a little, off color humor there. Okay. So let's get serious. So the topic of the show today is confidential informants and why I wanted to talk about this. So right out the gate at the beginning, as soon as this case happened and Ellie came out, hi Momo's thinking, and they said, we don't know, we think it was a targeted attack. And my first question was, what did you see in that house that made it seem targeted? Because a targeted attack means planned out, either the place or people or a person are chosen ahead of time. It usually takes time, like planned over time, things like that. Okay. So they must have seen something in that house to make them see that, or they knew something about the house that made them think that, or they knew something about the victims that made them think that. So that's like from the very, very, very beginning of the case. Targeted attack. Could it have been targeted because there was confidential informant information shared and it became retaliation for that shared information? There are a lot of circumstantial actions. People say, like things that have been said, video clips. Thanks, Beach Babe. Everything that I mean, it's not just speculation. It's speculating off of images and videos and statements and things like that is my point. Okay. All right. So targeted attack. All right. Then we have 5, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 5 girls living in a home from 2 different sororities. Correct me if I'm wrong. And both of those sororities are in trouble before this murder happens. Okay. We can take off the trigger warning. I don't think there's going to be any trigger warnings today. Both of those sororities are in trouble. Now, one seemed to be in more trouble than the other. One was just like, nothing. Here, let me pull it up. I have it, I think. Let me see. I think I have the exact verbiage. Let me look. And whatever we know that it's secretive. So we're never going to know everything, right? They are just letting us know basic information. So I found it's definitely an article. There might be a video. I'll probably just read the article about the sororities. And let me tell you, I searched for information about these 2 sororities, and even like their national.
I learned the ability to
What is
to grieve the way that I want to grieve. I want to be able to.
We're not watching that. Their national chapter is supposed to have transparency. There's supposed to be transparency and have like any infractions, any probations, any disciplinary issues. They're supposed to be like archived on their websites, and whichever one I went to, I think they had 2025, and that was it. Like I could not find anything past that. So I just wanted you to know I tried. Okay. So this is a Fox, probably affiliate article, Fox News. Alpha Phi and Phi Beta Pi at the University of Idaho are on probation for violations or concerns regarding risk management, alcohol, drugs, or hazing. And really, that's all we're ever allowed to know. And it could be any or all of those things. And that's what's hard to find out. Like, you just can't find out the specifics. This was published on November 30th, 2022. So the 2 sororities to which 3 of the slain University of Idaho students belonged are on disciplinary probation, according to community accountability records. That might be a place for me to look. Kaylee was a member of Alpha Phi. Xana, Maddie were members of Pi Beta Phi. Of 10 sororities recognized by the University of Idaho, Alpha Phi and Pi Beta Phi are the only 2 listed as on probation for health and safety reasons, which refers to violations. Okay, I already read that part. Okay. There's a little photo of Pi Beta Phi. I don't know if you can see it. In addition to being on probation with the university, Alpha Phi is also on a restorative plan with the national organization. So that must have been previous. Okay. So don't know what that is. Pi Beta Phi is in good standing with the sororities headquarters. Okay. The University of Idaho chapters and national organizations of Alpha Phi and Pi Beta Phi did not immediately respond. Of course, they're not going to respond. The University of Idaho also did not immediately respond to a request for comment. On Tuesday, a spokesperson, we don't want to see an ad for McDonald's fish sandwiches. Okay. On Tuesday, a spokesperson for Pi Beta Phi's headquarters told Fox News Digital Kernodle and Mogan were close friends of our members at the Idaho Alpha chapter at the University of Idaho. Close friends of our members. So they weren't sisters anymore because they left. So now they're calling them close friends. They and their families, along with the entire Vandal community, are in the thoughts. Okay. Of Pi Beta Phi members across North America. All right. And that's all we get. That's all we get about the university. Then it just turns into talking about the murders. It talks about Xana's boyfriend being Ethan. Ethan, a member of the fraternity of Sigma Chi. And Sigma Chi is listed as in good standing with both the University of Idaho as well as the national headquarters. So that was back in November 30th of 2022. So we cannot see or learn specifics. And my point about that is when a fraternity or a sorority gets in trouble, and we're going to hear about this not just from my opinion, but like on news reports and stuff. When they get in trouble, they, the whole chapter gets in trouble, but it has to be something that individuals did. And I keep saying this point. Who are the individuals? Who were the individuals that did something? Is that the reason why they left? Would that be a reason to have somebody become a confidential informant? And we're going to look at how that happens. How do these college kids become confidential informants? Right. Why did they leave the sorority? There has, I heard people talking about, especially with Kaylee and Maddie, they're seniors. They're done with it. They don't want to, have that obligation anymore because there is an obligation to it. It could be that. It could be that. But like I said, there's lots of, I don't know if it's suspicious, circumstantial situations going on that can go either way, right? Okay, so we've got that going on with the sororities. So then when we think back of all the information that we've seen like on body cam footage, so we see cops always at the 1122 home for noise complaints. Were they really noise complaints? I do think some people FOIA requested the complaints, so there were really noise complaints. Police were always there, and we see an interesting situation where one of the officers takes a photo of Kaylee's driver's license. They don't do that to other people when they show up to their house for noise complaints. So that's interesting. We also have a police officer, I think it was at the 1122 home, where I'll just say one of the guys that's in Sigma Chi is always there. He doesn't live there. He doesn't have a girlfriend in that house, but he's always there, answering the door, on body cam, hanging out. And that's kind of that raises my suspicion of when you start talking about what has gone on nationally for a lot of fraternities, and drug busts and informants and things like that. So when that person's there, I believe that there's body cam of a police officer saying that's my guy or that's my dude or something like that. And what's that referring to? Like just somebody you like? Somebody you run into often when you're on these noise complaints, and he's a cool college kid, so I like him, he's my dude, or that's my dude, like like my go-to for information or things, my inside source, homeboy, which is even more, like street lingo, right? I'm using that street lingo. That's my homeboy. Yeah. Lucy. Skull, I played your video. And shouted you out, and we dropped your link. I played the Hippler one with the dance moves. That was hilarious. Love it. Hi, Susan. Making sure I said hello to everybody. ATX, hello. The girls were upset about, yes. So we're going to talk about that. Like talking about costs. I had a news clip. I don't know if it's in the one I'm playing or not, but one fraternity house cost $9 million. $9 million. And that is a reason why they'll get into this selling of substances because they're making money, right? Any college kids, right? College kids are poor. It's a way to make money. Okay, what were some other things? It was a Sigma Chi house, not at University of Idaho, but somewhere else in the country, a $9 million house. And I know you have to pay a lot of money to be in a Greek life. We also saw how they pack them in like sardines. So they're trying to just get as much money as possible. Trying to see what some of my other points were. Okay, let's start with this one. Let's start with this little clip. Not that. You'll all remember this. This one. Okay, this is, does it say? Let me tell you who this is. You probably know. Snyder's Part 5 body cam. Okay. All we get is hi guys, and these people have to be blurred out, and we're not allowed to hear one single thing that they say. Like, ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to speed through that because we're not allowed to hear any of it. Can't see them, can't hear it. And then here comes.
We're going to do a neighborhood canvas. So I need to know who's available here to start.
So Roger Lanier, I think he must have just jumped out of a car because I don't even think he's been at the house. It doesn't sound like he has. Although I do think someone said he was tromping around the outside of it. So maybe he was. This is the clip where it sounds like the officer is whispering something about a CI in the house. I also think there's some other telling information on here.
With me. These two right here. I can. They're going to do the scene. We're going to walk around and look at the cameras. Did you just hear that radio transmission just a minute ago? That somebody.
That was unrelated.
Oh, it wasn't ridiculous.
I did have a camera up here.
Okay, so right there, who did I say this was? Officer House. He says, no, Lanier says, did you hear the the message that went out on their police officer, radios. Did you hear what went out? And Officer House says, like, almost like stepping on his words. Yes, but it was unrelated. It's Snyder. Yes, but he was unrelated. Yes, but it was unrelated. Does anybody know what that was? It is Snyder. Sorry. It's Officer Snyder Part 5. So some kind of call got called in. It got broadcasted over their police radios. Lanier seems to think it's interesting, it's coincidental, it's connected. And Snyder says, nope, not linked.
And they are going to be emailing me the footage from it. It just comes out this way, though. So, okay, the house.
Okay, that's another statement about the 1112 camera footage. Snyder just said that the residents at the home are going to email me the footage. Okay.
This is that one.
It's the one on the other side, right? The gray one.
Right here.
How many people live in that?
A bunch. There was a party last night.
At that house?
Okay. So this is the part right here. And it doesn't.
A bunch.
This part doesn't go with what I'm talking about today, but it's still interesting. And it's something I'm probably going to go into on another day. Lanier just asks him something. And I don't know if it was how many people live there. Let me know what you think he asks. And Snyder says a bunch. Let me rewind it a little bit. Let's listen.
How many people live in that?
A bunch. There was a party last night.
There was a party last night too. And I'm going to go on that, go down that path also, because if you think about it, and I really haven't heard anybody discuss this too much, when you look at those crime scene photos with the beer cans everywhere, I mean, just take the scene at face value. If you knew nothing else and all you see is the cans all over the house, the way the house was, my immediate thought would be a party got interrupted. Right? Why are there so many cans everywhere? A party got interrupted. That's what it seems like to me.
At that house?
Because he just said, at that house? Yeah.
But
okay, then we're not allowed to know what they're saying here. It's redacted. It's muted.
I don't know the names.
I can tell you more over here.
I can tell you more over there. So I'm gonna here.
I can tell you.
I think you have to watch Lanier's lips. Oh wait, I was gonna put closed caption on.
I can tell you.
I'm not rewinding it enough.
I don't know the names.
What I heard him say is, I don't know names, but I think one of them was a CI or something like that. Okay. We don't know for sure if that's what he said. The closed caption can't even pick it up. If that's what he said, I'm adding that to my reasons why I'm talking about this today. Okay. You can let me know how you guys think about that in the comments. Do you think that's what he says or not? Hi, Amy Conway. Dago's in here. Hi, Dago. Is that Jewel? Is that Please tell me how to say your name correctly. Hello, hello. Ro, hello, hello. You couldn't hear trains going by. Dana, hello. Dean, A. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. Jessie Lynn. All right. So I'm just giving you all of my support for why I'm going down this path today with these confidential informants. Okay. All right. Now let's listen to this.
There is a big development. There is a big development in the David case.
There is not.
There is a big development in the David.
I want. This one.
Say they've busted a.
Okay, so leading up to how do college students become confidential informants? Okay, what could have happened? What could have, speculating, right? What could have, if any, what if any, that's one of our sayings, right? What if any scenarios could have happened that could have led someone to become a confidential informant as a college student? So first you have to look at the activities, the illegal activities that could get you in trouble, and how likely is that to have been a scenario around any of these students in this situation. Okay. Is it a possibility? How plausible is it? So let's look at some of that.
Say they've busted a massive college drug ring in North Carolina, one that was pumping cocaine, LSD, and other dangerous narcotics onto the campuses at Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Appalachian State. Investigators say they arrested more than 20 what they called hardened drug dealers, many of them current or former students who were operating out of fraternity houses. Most of them, they tell us, were at UNC. They apparently used encrypted cell phone apps to communicate, and Venmo and PayPal and the like to rake in more than $1 million in drug money. Here's CNBC's Scott Cohn.
To hear federal authorities tell it, the drug ring offered a supermarket of illegal substances.
Thousands of pounds of marijuana over the course of several years, hundreds of kilos of cocaine, LSD, Molly or MDMA, mushrooms, steroids.
At 3 of North Carolina's largest universities. But beyond the sheer size of the operation, prosecutors say it was shockingly brazen. The drugs openly for sale inside fraternity houses, as well as on campus and in town, paid for with cash and financial apps, including Venmo and PayPal. Neither company charged with wrongdoing. 21 people are charged.
Did you guys hear that? PayPal and Venmo payments. And there's another news clip that I'm going to play I don't think it's in this one, where you're going to hear how the codes that they use, like code words and ways to cover up what they're actually doing, right? Like coffee, just as an example. Okay.
Charged, all in their 20s and nearly all from North Carolina, except for the primary supplier, who's from California. He's pleaded guilty. The total proceeds, at least $1.5 million. But the U.S. attorney says this is about more than this drug ring. It's about a drug culture on campus.
I call on university administrators, I call on the national chapters of these fraternities. Do something, take a stand.
All 3 universities say they are cooperating with law enforcement. The chancellor of UNC says he's extremely disappointed, promising the university will enforce the student conduct code. A spokesman for Duke saying the university takes these allegations seriously, promising they'll be dealt with through our disciplinary process.
See, they can say all of those things, you know, the leaders of the universities. we're gonna follow our disciplinary practices. Well, their disciplinary practices might not be very strong. So yeah, they can follow them because then, nothing too much is going to really happen. And I'm going to share a case with you at the end. It's one of the last things I'm going to do today, of a student who became a CI, and it went horribly wrong. And the parents are very upset because the university did not follow their policies. So following your policies, not following your policies, either way, I think those policies need to be upgraded. Upgraded.
Nearly 24 people facing.
Okay. Hey, these are switching automatically now. All right. Okay, this is more on that same campus drug trafficking ring, but it gives a lot more details.
Charges after a major drug trafficking bust in Orange County. It involves 3 North Carolina colleges and universities.
Let me stop for a minute. I want to see what you guys are saying in the chat because I saw some of your opinions about confidential informants and stuff like that. Let me go back and find them. Okay, so everybody's guessing who they think it might be. So we've got that person that's at the house all the time, right? Especially if it's associated with a fraternity. And that's my point. If this activity is going on at a fraternity or a sorority, and then someone in that fraternity or sorority gets busted, they are going to threaten these kids they're going to lie to them and tell them that they're going to get way more charges than they actually really would, and threaten them so that they'll accept becoming a CI. That's what happens. I don't know if that happened in this case or not, but that's what could happen. Here's another hypothesis. Oh, joking. Yeah. I forgot about that video. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Could have been. I know that there's a theory about one of the survivors going all the way back to high school. Could have been more than one. I've heard people talk about it could have been all of them in that house. What if it's the house, right? Law enforcement actually said that at the beginning of the case. We don't know if the house was targeted or if individuals were targeted. If the house is targeted, why? What's going on at that house? Is it the activity of the house? Is it what's going through the house? Is it who lives in the house? Or is it why they are living in that house? Being, I heard someone call it like a safe house type of a thing. Right away at the beginning, everybody thought it was odd that different sororities would be living together. Although I understand if it's only Kaylee, her being there because of Maddie, because they're so close. Yeah, and we question why these underclassmen were allowed to live off campus. I don't think that's a very easy request to get approved when you're at college, right? Just looking at your comments. This case was about 6 years ago, right? I believe. Oh my goodness. I want to say there was something about 2017. I think their investigation into these colleges started in 2017. How many years ago would that be? 9. I don't know when the actual bus, maybe she'll say. All right, let's listen to this.
State, Duke, and UNC. CBS 17's Bridget Chapman joins us live at UNC in Chapel Hill. Bridget, what have you found?
Angela, officials say this major operation involves more than $1.5 million worth of drugs ranging from marijuana to cocaine to various pills. Now, 21 people are facing federal charges. Many of them are either current or former students from Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and App State. Officials say a lot of the drug activity was taking places at fraternity houses. The investigation dates back to 2017. The network spans coast to coast. The U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of North Carolina says the supplier was arrested in California. He says this bust was a matter of saving lives.
America always believed that its college campuses were safe, little bubbles of freedom, ambition, and youth, where the worst thing expected was a bad grade or a late assignment. But all of that shattered before dawn. At exactly 4:12 a.m., when one of the largest federal operations in U.S. history unfolded across college grounds. FBI and DEA tactical teams moved with military precision, executing a coordinated nationwide raid that exposed a massive student-run drug network hiding inside dorm rooms, cafeterias, study halls, and student government offices. This wasn't a party-level bust. This was the takedown of a fully functioning trafficking pipeline operating across states with the discipline of a cartel.
Say they've busted a massive college drug ring in North Carolina, one that was pumping cocaine, LSD, and other dangerous narcotics onto the campuses at Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Appalachian State. Investigators say they arrested more than 20 what they called hardened drug dealers, many of them current or former students who were operating out of fraternity houses.
All run by students who sat in classrooms hours before the raids. Parents, administrators, and even campus security had no idea that a storm was coming. And what federal agents found next shocked the entire nation. The investigation didn't start with a tip from an informant. It began with a tragedy, a quiet overdose inside a freshman dorm in the Midwest. The toxicology report was unlike anything agents expected. The student had died from 90% purity fentanyl, a chemical profile matching batches shipped directly from Mexican superlabs. Within weeks, similar overdoses appeared in Oregon, Florida, Texas.
Nearly 24 drug trafficking arrests involving students at 3 local colleges in North Carolina, App State, Duke, and UNC Chapel Hill. The huge operation involved more than $1.5 million worth of drugs, ranging from marijuana, cocaine, to pills. CBS 17's Bridget Chapman getting answers and found out this investigation spanned several years.
And Pennsylvania. Different states, different campuses, but the same chemical signature. Federal analysts began piecing the puzzle together, and what they uncovered terrified them. A student-to-student narcotics pipeline that stretched across hundreds of miles.
You guys, this was all students. This was all students. I mean, eventually it's going to lead back to the cartel. And I believe this bust went back, they're going to say, to the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco cartel. That's the one that I covered with El Mencho, right? Yeah, big time. This is big time. And it's all the students. This is crazy.
These weren't cartel soldiers or gang members hiding behind books. They were honor students, engineering majors, scholarship athletes, and even campus organization leaders. Students who blended perfectly into the academic world while moving dangerous substances behind the scenes. FBI cyber analysts quietly breached encrypted student group chats, private servers, and hidden accounts.
Oh, listen to that. They were able to get into the students' encrypted accounts and their private servers. I bet those were harder to get into than Snapchat. So I'm hoping we get those Snapchats. Hello, Holly Berry from UK. Hello, hello. Yeah, the Sinaloas.
Inside, they found coded messages disguised as schoolwork.
Thanks for joining us at noon. I'm Sam Shocker. Today, DEA Rocky Mountain talked about yet another large drug bust, this time involving hundreds of pounds of meth. DEA officials say they seized 733 pounds worth of the street drug. They claim this is the single largest meth bust in state history. The DEA says agents seized these drugs from a Lakewood home along with other equipment to make more meth. This all comes as part of a larger investigation.
The people responsible, including a kingpin in Mexico, now face a 15-defendant federal indictment.
Including a kingpin in Mexico. I got to find out. Hi, Leah. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. we do need to find out exactly what date this bust happened, because then El Mencho is just taken out this past, I just did the show on it a couple weeks ago, you guys. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if this ties back to him. I'm also going to do the story this week on the Olympic kingpin. So that'll be good too. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's him that it gets tied to.
Wiretaps, undercover operations, extensive surveillance, and swift enforcement action led to enormous seizures in this case.
The DEA says this case is connected to both the Sinaloa and the Jalisco cartels in Mexico. Later today on 9 News at 4, investigative reporter Jeremy Hajola explains more about this bust and how it all unfolded.
Study package meant 50 pills. Group project meant a large shipment. Library.
So these are the code words that the university students. There is an Olympic kingpin skull. And I have to give Tomboy credit. She brought that story to my attention. And I think Molly, one of the mods for Dago, already did a video on it also on her channel. So you guys could check that out as well. But, you know, Carlos is a big sports guy. And I asked him, I'm like, did you know there was an Olympian that became a drug lord? And he's like, no. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. It was you, Meg. I'm sorry, Meg. I know one of you beautiful moderators filled me in on that. Thank you, Meg. And okay, so in this video right now, you can see it says library drop at 9. These are their code words. This is how they would know what to do. This is how they were communicating on their phone. So when you think about, I just backed it up a minute. Think about what we see in the Idaho 4 case, like their Venmo messages, any things like that. If we get to ever see more phone text messages, those could be really telling as well.
Bust and how it all unfolds.
Study package meant 50 pills.
So if they would text each other study package, that meant bring 50 pills. Like, I'm going to buy 50 pills.
Group project.
If there's a group project going on.
Project meant a large shipment.
A large shipment's coming in.
Library drop at 9 meant a pickup location.
Library drop at 9. That's where we're going to meet.
The network was brilliant not because of violence, but because of invisibility. Students naturally carry backpacks everywhere. Students travel home on weekends and holidays. Students move between states every semester. They communicate constantly using encrypted apps, and nobody suspects them. The traffickers didn't sneak across borders carrying drugs. They controlled the people and logistics that did. Using university life as the perfect camouflage, they built a distribution web that ran through dorms, frat houses, campus events, and student businesses. By early April, the evidence reached a critical point. Agents traced more than $6.7 million in illegal transactions through student payment apps, crypto wallets, and campus club accounts. They intercepted conversations linking the network to Mexico.
That's a horrible, Skull. I'm sorry about that. I know in certain places where it's not tied to universities, yeah, they're using young kids. They do that in big cities, urban areas in the United States, and Mexico. It's just the culture. Like, they really go after the young kids.
Mexican intermediaries who specifically targeted students because they were mobile, anonymous, and unsuspected. The DEA realized that this wasn't small-time college dealing. This was a nationwide criminal enterprise. A federal green light was given for the largest multi-campus raid in modern history. The mission was named Operation Clean Slate, and its execution was synchronized across 14 states at exactly the same minute, 4:12 a.m.
Okay, I'm leaving that time up there, you guys. There's the time that they executed this 14-state drug bust. And I don't think we've heard all 14 states mentioned in this video. So they've talked about North Carolina, New York, Appalachia State, Duke, but 14 states, 4:12 a.m. Pretty much at 4 a.m. Pretty much at 4 a.m. This drug bust went down.
College campuses that were silent moments before suddenly turned into federal operation zones. Black SUVs rolled in.
Earlier this week, the Coast Guard announced the largest cocaine seizure in its history. The results of which is what you're seeing here on these pallets. Nearly 50,000 pounds of cocaine worth more than $360 million. Nicole Skanga takes us aboard the operation from Coast Guard missions at sea to the DEA lab where the drug's origin can be traced.
Drones hovered over dorm buildings. Agents wearing FBI and DEA tactical vests moved in formation. Hallway cameras captured officers breaching dorm rooms as stunned students watched with their hands raised.
Momo, are you asking me the pins for the states, the exact states? I didn't notice that. I'm sorry.
One California university, agents uncovered a secret stash room behind a fraternity's basement wall containing 11.
What? What was that? A stash room behind a basement wall.
Pounds of meth, 38 fake IDs, multiple encrypted phones, and a ledger detailing distribution across 6 states. At a Texas college, a so-called campus wellness club was exposed as a money laundering front.
A wellness club? They called it a wellness club, but they were pushing drugs through it. So we've got Texas and California in there. Yeah, this is crazy. Oh, now we're going to Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, a math tutor who helped students with calculus homework also handled financial routing for the entire network. The scale was beyond anything agents had expected. By sunrise,
this has to become a movie, don't you guys think? Like, this has to become a movie. Who are these? These are like, high achieving engineers, mathematicians, getting college degrees. And they're like, yeah, I'll be your accountant for the drug ring.
The final number stunned the country. 214 students arrested, all charged with trafficking, conspiracy, or money laundering. Their mugshots, lined up on multiple screens inside a federal command center's syntarts, looked like ordinary students, kids wearing hoodies, backpacks, and team jerseys. But behind the ordinary exterior was a system designed to mimic legitimate business operations. Agents later said that the structure they uncovered looked less like a student ring and more like a corporate distribution empire. Some students acted as transporters. Others were processors, packagers, or accountants. A few high-level organizers communicated directly with cartel intermediaries using...
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine being the one that has to communicate directly with the Mexican cartels? Yikes. Ozark part 2. College Ozark. That's what we need. That's what we need. Yeah, and there were only 214 students arrested. Is that what they said? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Encrypted foreign servers. The money trail was even more disturbing. Students laundered funds through campus clubs, student government accounts, tech startups, and even scholarship funds. One student group that won a $40,000 innovation grant was actually funneling money to cartel suppliers overseas. Payments moved through Venmo, Cash App, crypto, and PayPal.
Crypto, you say? Cash App, Venmo, crypto.
Using coded memos disguised as tuition expenses or book payments. The network even used student meal cards to mask microtransactions. Financial analysts.
So if you just wanted to buy something small, somehow they were using their food accounts, right? I don't know how that would work, but yeah.
Eventually uncovered more than $2 million quietly routed through student-controlled shell accounts, proving that the traffickers weren't just selling drugs, they were building an integrated financial system inside universities. The most chilling discovery came from intercepted communications revealing the cartel's strategy. Mexican suppliers intentionally targeted students because students travel freely, avoid suspicion, and naturally cross state lines. They turned the U.S. college system into an unmonitored delivery network. Cheap labor, easy transport, low risk. The cartel didn't infiltrate universities. Students invited them through crypto channels, encrypted apps, and desperate financial needs. College pressure, student debt, and social media culture created the perfect environment for exploitation. As news spread, parents flooded campuses demanding answers. Professors were stunned. Students cried as friends were handcuffed. University presidents scrambled to release statements declaring shock and cooperation. But the federal message was clear. This wasn't a mistake or an isolated ring. This was systemic, and it was only phase one. Digital evidence indicated that more than 600...
Phase one? Phase one. What's going to be phase two?
Additional students had indirect involvement, either through transactions, communication, or logistics. Federal agencies made it clear that more arrests could follow. Across the nation, reactions were explosive. Some argued that the crackdown was essential and overdue. Others said the arrests were too aggressive, claiming that many students were manipulated or unaware of the network's deeper connections. Protests erupted at multiple campuses, with students holding signs demanding transparency and reform.
I gotta love college kids. They'll protest anything. Excuse me. That's funny. They were protesting the drug bus. So yeah, when we say like however many people they arrested that very first night at pretty much 4 a.m. There were then those people, they were going to get information from those people and then make more arrests, get information from those people, get more arrests. So this could have gone on for a long time, adding 600 more students. I'm not sure. You think the final count was 214? They're calling this, it went in phases. So I think it's like trickle down, right? Yeah, I'm looking at your comments. Hi, Sylvia Hurley. Thank you so much. That's sweet. Where in Pennsylvania? They said Appalachia University. I'm not sure where that's at. Is that in Pennsylvania? I'm not sure. College Ozark, yeah. All right, let's finish this one.
Meanwhile, grieving families of overdose victims demanded harsher penalties. The divide highlighted a painful new reality. America's education system had quietly become a frontline battleground in the drug war. But behind the outrage and emotion, one truth remained unavoidable. Operation Clean Slate exposed how deeply narcotics, money laundering, and cartel influence had embedded themselves inside academic life. The danger wasn't outside campus gates. It was inside dorm rooms, classrooms, cafeterias, and student clubs. And federal agencies weren't willing to let it grow any further. In the final press briefing, an FBI spokesperson delivered a message that echoed across the nation. Our campuses will not be safe havens for criminal networks. We will reclaim them, one operation at a time. This wasn't just a raid, it was a turning point, a line drawn in the sand, and the beginning of a new era of enforcement on America's college campuses.
Okay, I am looking up what date Operation Clean Slate happened. So let me see. The New York State. No, I don't want that. So now it looks like states are putting in legislation that's called Operation Clean Slate. I'm trying to find when the bust happened. Oh, now they're just all okay. I put date of Operation Clean Slate drug. Busts. Anybody beat me to it in the chat? You think this has anything to do with the house being taken down since a possible informant were there hidden camera? That's the other thing. The house is tore down and like nobody protests against it. And if you guys saw the verdict room on Saturday night, we were talking to a defense attorney and he thought tearing the house down was more helpful to the defense. So he didn't understand why the prosecution would want the house torn down and I asked him why. And he said, because just being in that house would be so emotional. It would affect the jurors in favor of the prosecution was his, okay, this says Operation Clean Slate drug busts often refer to localized short-term law enforcement actions. A notable, frequently cited Operation Clean Slate resulted in over 20 arrests. Now, I don't know, you guys. There's been lots of small Operation Clean Slate drug busts everywhere. So I'll have to go back and look for this specific one. I am sorry. I apologize about that. Yeah. So that's another, especially if going back to the house was targeted. They literally said that was a well, they didn't know, was the house targeted? And then they turn around and tear down the house. I mean, 1 + 1, right? 1 and 1 sometimes. Again, we're just speculating over here about everything. Okay, so I wanted to start off with, things in the Idaho 4 case that make us think about possible confidential informants and the role that could have played, hypothetically, possibly, and then look at the reality of that. It's a reality. Okay. So we just saw news reports on major drug busts in, high achieving college campuses like Duke. Okay. Like these aren't just like small, small town little colleges. These are like major universities with reputations. Reputable is what I'm looking for. Okay. So now I want to look at back to the Idaho 4 case. Okay. So if getting in trouble legally for something you might do as a college student can turn you into a confidential informant, what does that look like in Moscow or Pullman, Washington, like in that area? So our girl Alana covered this a while back. So it's an older video of hers, and I'm just showing a clip. on how these officers get their informants, and they use Facebook. Okay. So just a couple seconds of this. And I need 13. Let me back this up. Again, shout out and all the credit to Lana at Truth and Transparency for this. If you don't know who I'm talking about, get over there to Truth and Transparency and follow her. Give her a like for this video. I'll post, if you want to watch the whole thing, I'll post the link for it. This right here, okay, is an officer. This is one of the Molly McMichael DoorDash, when she comes out of the hospital after giving blood, I believe, because she got pulled over again. And this is the officer that's with her, and he's going to talk about somebody that, how he gets like a confidential informant.
But then, long story short, I ended up kicking them loose.
What did I put? 12, 13.
That would obviously be before 209. Okay. So this is what transpired before what you just saw. Okay. 12:30, 2023, 1:26 a.m. comes before 209. Ready?
Justin Stringer, Sabres, and I hooked him for DUI, but then, long story short, I ended up kicking him loose. But he's going to help us with some stuff.
So it doesn't sound like she's supposed to be letting him drive it.
He's slinging dope. He's right. My Facebook girl, he was going to sell me meth and fentanyl. So I'll let him think.
My guess is the dope's at home because she went to the store.
Yeah.
Just some ice cream and shit in the back.
For some reason, he didn't want us to look in it, but I don't know. Maybe she has some fentanyl in there or something. So.
Sorry, I was doing something and then I missed it.
209. Ready?
Justin Stringer, Sabres, and I hooked him for DUI, but then, long story short, I ended up kicking him loose.
Okay. So whoever's speaking, I'm sure you guys know more than me. Lana probably said it earlier in the video. That's my point is that the police officers around the University of Idaho and Washington State University were doing this, right? They were collecting confidential informants or these either college students or townie, I call them townie people that were informing, giving them information. Okay. So right away, he's naming somebody that he pulled over for a DUI. And he says, I kicked him loose. So I mean, is there no paper trail? Is this like all verbal? Like, hey, I just busted you for a DUI. So now you owe me a favor and I'm going to let you go, kind of a thing. Are they doing this the right way? Is this going through the prosecutor's office like it should? So maybe a lot of these confidential informants aren't even documented. I don't know. And then they're naming a kind of like a drug gang, right? Called the Sabres. And let me tell you, you doubt that they did it the right way. Right? Do something the right way. I Googled Sabres and you know what came up? Anybody want to take a guess what came up? The Aryan Knights. It didn't even say anything about Sabres. It just said this is an Aryan Knight gang. Go ahead and Google it. I think I spelled it Sabres. Yeah. Interesting. Is Kane here? Kane. And hi, Susie. Susie Little B. Hello.
But he's going to help us with some stuff.
So it doesn't sound like she's supposed to be letting him drive it.
He's slinging dope.
So he's helping the officer out and he's slinging dope. So they'll get these confidential informants to sell to people that they want to bust, whatever they want to do. There's a lot of cases that I have discovered where, like, when you become a confidential informant, you have to meet a quota. They'll be like, I need you to make this many controlled buys, by a certain date or whatever. So then a lot of pressure comes onto these kids. All right, let's see. Skull. You're taking your dogs for a walk and you're telling them to hurry up. That's funny. Pled in March 2023 after being busted. Is that AKs? I'm not sure what that stands for. Thank you for the information, though. Okay. All right. I don't know if there's anything. Let me see.
My Facebook girl, he was going to sell me meth. And
okay. This is the point I wanted to get. My Facebook girl. And then he says he was going to get me meth. So my Facebook girl. So they also have these people on Facebook Messenger. That's how they communicate. They're communicating in these apps. Now, I think Facebook Messenger is a likely app that you'd be like, oh yeah, you definitely message on there, right? It's literally called Facebook Messenger. But we have seen in documents in the Idaho 4 case that there was communications on platforms like LinkedIn. What are some of the other ones? Help me out. There was LinkedIn, even through their like Venmos and PayPals, they're leaving messages. So I think there were some, one of them was a job site. There was a job site that they were that you could message on. So probably just trying to find more. If you were trying to find, because remember, we're speculating over here today. If you were trying to find a more private way to communicate, you would go to apps like that. So they use Facebook people.
So I'll let him think.
My guess is the dope's at home because she went to the store.
Yeah.
Just some ice cream and shit in the back.
For some reason, he didn't want us to look at it, but I don't know. Maybe she has some fentanyl in there or something. So,
okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the obvious thing in this case is that we got Molly over here getting busted over and over and over and over, and probably more times than should have been allowed without actually doing jail time. Do you guys agree with that? So how does she keep getting out over and over and over? If she's a confidential informant, we literally hear her in that one clip when she goes into processing and she's sitting at the desk and she tells the lady, I'm supposed to testify against Brian Koberger, the case of those 4 college kids, I have to testify against him, that I saw him, or whatever she says. Is that a leverage move? Speculating. Is that a leverage move because they can, cut them loose and then use them for things? So that's another direction. That's another branch of that, right? That's a whole nother branch. Hi, 1-1. Looking to see who else joined. All right. Okay, so keep the Facebook communication in your head, because let me pull this up. Right here.
I went to, and she mentioned having a stalker. And I'm asking my friends for more details. I know that she received something, and I can't remember if it was through the mail or through the phone, but talking with some friends, it might have been through Facebook Messenger. But we cannot remember, like, absolutely for sure.
Play that one more time. Listen to this.
Talking with some friends, it might have been through Facebook. I know that she received something.
Okay. Kaylee received something, and I know hopefully go ahead and put the emojis in chat, you guys. We're the peeps. Peep, peep. Peeps like people, like you're my peeps. But that's our symbol. So here we have Rachel. How do you say her last name? Rager. She's talking to the officer again about the lunch that all the girls got together with, and they were talking about Kaylee had a stalker, and she's coming back for a second time and saying, hey, we have been talking more amongst my friends, and we know that Kaylee received something. And I know that I heard a long time ago that it was a package that they asked to the law enforcement asked to get from Kaylee's home. I don't know if that's verified. Like, is that maybe that's in a document somewhere? I probably read it. Again, I forget what I used to know sometimes in this case because it's been so long. But I think it's interesting that she is saying, sorry, it could have been on Facebook Messenger. How do you receive something on Facebook Messenger? Is it, obviously a message, a picture, a photo, a threat, a code, to receive something on Facebook Messenger? So we just heard a police officer say, I've got hookups on Facebook. And now we've got a friend of Kaylee saying something could have possibly been going on Facebook. So just pointing that out. I love seeing those peeps in the chat.
And I can't remember if it was through the mail or through the phone, but talking with some friends, it might have been through Facebook Messenger.
So she couldn't remember if it was through the mail or through the phone. Through the mail, or if it could be directions. I mean, I don't know. I'm just, throwing stuff out there.
But we cannot remember, like, absolutely for sure, and where it was from.
Okay. Do you remember, pardon me? You said Facebook Messenger. Do you think she received like a note or something from somebody through that?
So I wanted to say she got something through the mail, and like that it was kind of obscure. But when I talked to one of the other girls that was at lunch, she said that it might have been like a very weird message from Facebook Messenger. And like,
Oh, you know what, you guys? I did something on a show a long time ago. Or no, Dago, maybe it was on your show if you're still listening. Remember Kaylee got a message from a jail? That was a letter. That was a letter that came to her from jail. And we looked at that. I think Dago and I looked at it together and we were picking that apart. I have no idea if it was his show, my show, but I won't be able to find it right now, but maybe that's what they're talking about. Kaylee got a letter from jail. And maybe looking back at that now, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would hit the like button, especially if we could get 100 likes right now. I know that helps, and I hardly ever get 100 likes, especially when I'm live. I think that helps with the algorithm. I would really appreciate that. If about 50 of you could do that. But yeah, did you guys know the jail letter I'm talking about? And I think it had like a picture or something. Wow. All right. So I'm just building connections here, right? I'm just building connections. I'm trying not to throw this idea of confidential informants out there like a crazy conspiracy theory that has no basis for it. I'm trying to show as much basis as I can through everything that we just through verified information. Okay. All right. I got that. All right. I'm going to get into how being a confidential informant ends in tragedy a lot of times. And this was definitely a tragedy at the University of Idaho. Did something go horribly wrong? Like, we don't know the motive. We don't know. So when people say, like, don't speculate about that or speculate, well, no one knows. So that's all we're left to do is to speculate. Why could this have happened? And if it has something to do with drugs, then it possibly could have had something to do with a confidential informant. It could have had something to do with something with confidential informants going wrong. And I'm going to show now examples of that happening, confidential informants. Gone wrong. Okay. And this is going to be the case of Andrew Sadik. Anybody familiar with that one? Andrew Sadik. And this is from a channel called Crime and Crime Again. Let me make sure it's showing up. Yep. Okay. Andrew Sadik, it's going to tell us all about him, but this happened at, I think, oh no, I'm confusing it with another story. We'll just learn it from the video.
North Dakota is a tiny one. Rogers, North Dakota is a tiny 1 square mile town, home to less than 50 people. And near the town of Rogers sits the Sadik family farm, where Andrew Sadik grew up, learning to drive and tag cattle, preparing for the day when his father would pass the family farm on to him. Tammy and John Sadik were relatively early in their marriage when they adopted their son Nicholas at just 1 year old. Nicholas was actually the biological son of Tammy's sister, but circumstances led to Tammy and John taking him in and soon officially adopting him. When Nicholas was about 7 years old, Tammy and John welcomed baby Andrew Sadik into the world on November 22, 1993. The boys grew up loving the outdoors, and some of their favorite hobbies were riding motorcycles and dirt biking. Both of the boys have been described as quiet and gentle, but they loved being on the farm and working with the family's cattle herd. The Sadik family was always a strong, close-knit unit, and the boys always knew they were meant to take over the family farm someday. But in 2005, tragedy struck. On July 22, 2005, Nicholas and his girlfriend were driving over unmarked train tracks when a train struck their vehicle. Both Nicholas and his girlfriend were killed in the accident. He was only 18 years old and had just graduated high school 2 months before. Andrew was only 11 years old when Nicholas died, and it shattered him. Both Andrew and his mother, Tammy, did go to grief counseling after the accident, but of course, the pain of that loss never truly heals. Through his grief, Andrew continued helping his parents with the family farm, knowing that he would now be the one running it someday. As Andrew got older, he developed a keen interest in electrical engineering. In high school, he won a state electrical competition before going on to place 6th in a national competition. In 2012, Andrew graduated from high school, and later that same year, he started attending North Dakota State College of Science, studying to become an electrician. The North Dakota State College of Science is located in Wahpeton, North Dakota, a town of about 8,000 people, 2 hours away from Andrew's hometown near Rogers. Andrew was always a more reserved and bashful person, but as he settled into college life, he quickly grew out of his shell. He became close friends with his roommate, Drew Kugel, and the two formed a core group of friends that they spent a lot of their free time with. College is, of course, a chapter of life filled with the thrill of newfound independence and the excitement of discovering a new social scene. Though Andrew and his friends hung out a lot and had plenty of fun, Andrew was dedicated to his studies, always maintaining good grades and good attendance. He enjoyed college life, but he was serious about securing a stable life and career after graduation. As many college students do, Andrew and his group of friends occasionally indulged in smoking marijuana. This was purely recreational and wasn't concerning until early April 2013. Andrew was caught on 2 separate occasions selling marijuana on the college campus. One sale was for $20 and the other was for $60. Andrew didn't immediately face consequences for this, and that was because on both occasions, he had unknowingly sold the marijuana to confidential informants. It would be several months before Andrew would find that out. On November 21st, 2013, 7 months after Andrew was initially caught selling, he and his roommate Kugel were in their dorm one night when they heard a knock at their door. It turned out to be the police, requesting to search the dorm room.
Okay, so was this showing up okay for you guys? Oh, it went black on my side too. Okay. So he gets busted because of a confidential informant. And see, now this is also showing the domino effect, right? So in this case, the police seem to be catch somebody small, make them roll on, a bigger dealer, and then they roll on a bigger dealer. Like, that's how I've always thought it went, right? Yes, this student, Andrew, I believe was a user as well as a seller. So
Andrew and Kugel agreed to the search, and they each sat on their beds as police officers combed through their belongings. According to Kugel, he wasn't worried, until an officer opened Andrew's desk drawer and found a small plastic grinder with marijuana residue still inside. Andrew admitted that the grinder belonged to him, and Kugel was abruptly asked to leave the room. After that night, Andrew didn't mention the incident again. When his friends asked him...
Okay, we're talking about marijuana here, right? I don't think they mentioned anything else. I apologize if I'm getting... There's another case that I want to tell you about, and I keep getting the details mixed up. But this kid had a marijuana grinder. Okay.
And what happened after police found the grinder, he seemed to become defensive, shushing his friends and not wanting to talk about it. Andrew's friends have all said that after that, they dropped the subject, and everything seemed fine. They didn't believe that Andrew had gotten into any real trouble. But what none of Andrew's friends knew was that on November 22nd, 2013, the day after police found the grinder, Andrew voluntarily met with Richland County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Weber to discuss the consequences he was facing.
Okay, you guys, watch this. This is a real police interview, and his face is not blurred out. He's a college student, busted for drugs. They're not blurring out his face. I don't think any of the audio is silenced, but we'll double check me and make sure. And I think you can hear the whole thing from beginning to end. Like, it's weird. It's weird how that is allowed.
How's it going today? All right. It's your birthday today. Probably not what you want to be doing on your birthday, huh? Show your roommates what you have going on? All right, that's probably good. All right, well, you expressed interest that you probably want to help yourself out. Yeah. Okay, like I said, you're facing 2 felonies and then, of course, a misdemeanor charge from yesterday. 2 felonies of deliveries since they took place on campus, both of them, they're enhanced, so they're Class A felonies. 20 years in prison, $20,000 fine, and are both. Okay, so potentially the max is 40 years in prison, $40,000 fine. You understand that? Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you're probably not going to.
So he's telling him that he could potentially serve 40 years in prison and 2 felonies for what, a little bit of pot that they found. Oh my gosh. In most states it's legal to have so much on you now anyways. So I'm not sure what year this happened in, but probably before those laws, but yeah. Yeah, like a dime bag or something. Just crazy. They just lie. They lie, just like with the plea deal, overcharge, threaten, get you to accept an agreement.
Get 40 years, but is it a good possibility that you're going to get some prison time? If you don't help yourself out, yeah, there is. Okay, that's probably not a way to start off your young adult life and career, right? So, what I'm going to ask for you to do is to do some buys for me then. Okay, where you'd have to wear a wire, you'd have to go buy marijuana from individuals, and then, depending upon how you do and so forth, a lot of this could go away. Is it all going to go away? Probably not. Are you going to probably have to plead guilty to maybe a misdemeanor possession of marijuana? Probably, but at least you're not pleading guilty to felonies. Okay, is that fair enough? Okay.
As you heard there, Deputy Jason Weber informed Andrew that he was facing 2 felony charges for selling marijuana on a college campus in April 2013, along with a misdemeanor charge for the plastic grinder found in his dorm room.
All right, she just said 2013. Let's listen to this again.
A college campus in April 2013.
April 2013.
Along with a misdemeanor charge for the plastic grinder found in his dorm room. He then told Andrew that he was potentially facing a maximum of 40 years in prison if he, quote-unquote, didn't help himself out. Deputy Weber then proposed to Andrew that he could possibly make all of those charges go away if Andrew agreed to become a confidential informant for the task force that Deputy Weber was involved with, known as the Southeast Multi-County Agency Narcotics Task Force, or SEMCA. There is little information available to the public about the task force.
Okay, so this is another focus. A task force, you guys. A task force. Let me hear this again.
Southeast Multi-County Agency Narcotics Task.
So this task force was called SEMCA.
Confidential informant for the task force that Deputy Weber was involved with, known as the Southeast Multi-County Agency Narcotics Task Force, or SEMCA.
I believe. I don't believe I can fly. There was a multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency, that's what I should use, multi-agency drug task force in Latah County, I believe. I did have that on my list to look into. I have not done that yet. Any of you have recall anything about that right now off the top of your head? Go ahead, put it in chat. But that's what these task forces do, right? Get some confidential informants. They're trying to find the dealers. They're trying to find the people above the local dealers. Yeah, this same kind of task force was operating in Idaho, in the county where the University of Idaho is. Making myself a note about that. Hey, Brian, good to see you today.
There is little information available to the public about the task force, but what we do know is that it comprises law enforcement agencies from 3 different counties in North Dakota and 1 county in Minnesota. The task force does not even have a website, so it's unclear exactly what their mission is. But it appears that they recruit people as confidential informants to perform controlled buys of narcotics, which then allows them to prosecute the sellers. During the interview, Deputy Weber presented this as a solution to Andrew's potential legal trouble. Andrew ultimately agreed to become a confidential informant for Semka, signing a document for Deputy Weber. As part of this agreement, Andrew would have to make 5 controlled buys of marijuana while wearing a wire, and remain in frequent contact with Deputy Weber. And one major factor in this agreement was confidentiality. Andrew could not tell any of his family or friends about what he was doing. Between November 2013 and January 2014, Andrew made 3 controlled buys as a confidential informant. But soon after the 3rd buy, Andrew began to fall off the radar of Deputy Weber. He responded to Weber's messages less and less frequently, and seemed to be putting off scheduling any more buys. By April 2014, Andrew was still doing well in all of his classes, and he was just a few weeks away from graduating college with a 2-year degree. But at that point, Andrew seemed to have had second thoughts about agreeing to become a CI. Deputy Weber was still attempting to contact Andrew and schedule his final 2 buys, but after a few months of not getting anywhere, Deputy Weber gave Andrew a deadline.
See, this is what I was talking about. Like, there's like a quota. Like, you have to do this much work for us and this kind of work and in a certain number of buys. And I just keep thinking how terrifying that would be to have a wire on you and have to go purchase from somebody that, oh my gosh, it would just be so scary. I'd be so nervous.
He told him that if he did not make another buy before May 1st, 2014, he would issue the warrants for Andrew's arrest on those 2 felony charges for selling marijuana. On April 25th, 2014, Andrew went back home to visit with his family, and he spent much of that weekend helping his dad around the farm. Toward the end of that weekend, Andrew said his goodbyes to his family to head back to campus.
Hi, Brutal Be Honest. Let me drop the link for this creator. It is Crime and Crime Again. Let me see. Can share it. Copy. There you go.
But his family had no idea that those goodbye hugs that weekend would be final. On April 30th, 2014, Andrew Sadik spent the evening with his friends watching a movie in his dorm. When the movie was over, his friends headed back to their dorms, and Andrew and his roommate Kugel started to settle in for the night. But a little while later, around 2 a.m., Andrew got up, grabbed his backpack, and told his roommate he would be back later.
Okay, so the cop got on him and the sheriff, whatever, and is like, you got to do, 1 or 2 more buys for us or whatever. Like, you're not done yet, dude. Yep. Susan, did you say, I saw your comment, you've literally seen, like, somebody that had to go through this? That's crazy. That's crazy. Notice, hi, loving it up. Notice how the confidentiality is important, that you aren't saying anything, not the confidentiality with the police covering your butt. Yeah, right? This is a job for the DEA, not civilians. Absolutely. There's no training. Like, I don't think, there maybe there's supposed to be training, but there's not training. Yeah. And these kids are like 18, 19 years old. Like they're so scared of the, punishment. Like, forget even thinking about going to jail, just like having this on my record and how much money am I going to have to pay, because we're broke college kids anyways, like, and then upping it to scaring them with jail time. Like, yeah, they're going to be terrified and do whatever they want them to do. Horrible. And speaking about not covering them, there's that other story of Rachel Hoffman was her name, and she became a CI in Florida, and those cops sent her into a situation that she had no business being in, way over her head. She got found out. They wanted her to purchase not only drugs, but like weapons. And they were not there for her. They were supposed to be like covering her, like you said, and following her. And I think they lost contact and she died. And now, because of that, I'm telling you, every time there's a lawsuit, that's how laws get made, right? So now there's Rachel's Law.
Not specifying where he was going. His roommate didn't think much of it, assuming that Andrew was just going to see his girlfriend for a while. Security cameras in the dorm building captured Andrew leaving around 2 a.m., wearing a black and red Tampa Bay Buccaneers hoodie and his backpack.
All right, so that's him leaving after his roommate goes to bed, after the sheriff is like, you need to go do this. And William, I saw your comment. Yeah, go to the prosecutor and say, do you even know that this is happening? Yes, for sure. I was there and they asked a CI to do a job and he said no, he was out. I saw the cop pull out a bag of weed and a bag of white powder, then opened his desk drawer and dropped it in. Oh my God, like to set him up or to pay him off to do it. Like, oh my gosh, wow. Okay, so here he goes, following the sheriff's request, out to go do this buy.
It's unclear whether he drove his car or left on foot. There were no cameras outside of the building that captured his movements after he left. May 1st, 2014 was a Thursday, meaning that despite leaving his dorm around 2 a.m. early that morning, Andrew did have classes to attend later in the day. Throughout the day on May 1st, none of Andrew's friends were able to get in touch with him. He didn't respond to any calls, texts, or Snapchat messages. By that point, it had been several hours since Andrew left his dorm in the early hours of that morning. His friends didn't want to make too big of a deal about it at that point, assuming that he was just with a girl or maybe just taking a breather. But when they noticed that he wasn't even opening any of their messages, they grew more concerned. It wasn't like Andrew to blow off his friends or not even reply back just to say that he's okay. By the next day, May 2nd, 2014, Andrew's friends knew something was wrong. That day, they went to one of the college offices, hoping they would be able to obtain Andrew's parents' phone numbers to get in touch with them and let them know what was going on. They were given a phone number, and they called Andrew's parents telling them that they hadn't seen him since the early hours of May 1st, and that he hadn't shown up to any classes or responded to any of their messages in over 24 hours. According to Andrew's friends, his parents were understandably alarmed and wanted more information. But his friends were just as in the dark as his parents were. They had no idea where Andrew could have gone when he slipped out of his dorm at 2 a.m. A little while later, Andrew's parents received a call from the college, informing them that Andrew was in fact missing. The college then provided information to local radio and news stations to broadcast the news of Andrew's disappearance, in the hope that someone would remember seeing him or would know what happened to him. But nothing came of it. Meanwhile, Tammy and John were frantically calling and texting their son, hoping desperately that it was all a misunderstanding, and his name would light up on their phones to tell them that he was okay. But again, they received no response from Andrew. On May 3rd, 2014, more than 48 hours since Andrew was last seen or heard from, the Richland County Sheriff's Department launched a large-scale search of the area for Andrew Sadik. Multiple volunteers from Andrew's hometown in Rogers, North Dakota, volunteered to travel to Wahpeton and offer up their ATVs, horses, and any other resources they had to help search for Andrew. But oddly, Richland County authorities declined their help. During those searches on May 3rd, no signs of Andrew were found. On May 5th, 2014, 4 days after Andrew disappeared, Tammy and John received a warrant for Andrew's arrest. They were obviously shocked and confused. What in the world could their son have gotten into trouble for? Andrew was quiet and reserved, maintained good grades, and was on the path to success in his future career. His parents were completely unaware of what was happening in Andrew's personal life. It was when they learned of the warrant for their son's arrest that Tammy and John also learned that Andrew had been caught selling marijuana on campus and that he later agreed to become a confidential informant. And they could not believe what they were hearing. They never thought that Andrew was even smoking marijuana, much less selling it or agreeing to sell it for the police.
Again, all of this over marijuana. Like, oh my goodness. And so now that he's missing and there's an issue going on, the cops put out an arrest warrant instead of trying to find him. Are they trying to like distance themselves, like cover up the CI effect? I don't know. This is weird. And oh my goodness, I'm forgetting names. Forgive me. I will find it. Someone made a comment. I wanted to come. William Tardy, you said that why do they wait so long? Like, why are they coming up with charges, all this time later, right? Well, obviously I'm speculating, but it looks like they're covering their tails, right? For turning somebody into a CI and now he's missing. Yeah. Hi, Brutal Be Honest. Saw someone else come in too. Soft Touch Productions, Skilla 591. That White Boy Rick movie. Yeah, or it's like a documentary, right? I know we watched that. That's a good one if you guys haven't seen that. In this video here, this podcast that we're listening to, Crime and Crime Again, she's going to recommend a documentary that she says is really good to watch. So get something ready to write that down.
At that point, it seemed that the police perspective on Andrew's case had shifted from investigating a missing person to tracking down a fugitive. When the warrants for his arrest were filed, it also shifted the public's perspective of Andrew's disappearance. Authorities had now made it appear as though Andrew was running away from the consequences he was facing. But realistically, that didn't make much sense. He had already conducted 3 controlled buys for Deputy Weber.
Oh, so the cops are trying to say, well, he didn't want to get in trouble, so he ran away. Okay.
Why would he all of a sudden decide to flee, to leave behind his education, his career, his family and friends, instead of just going through with those final 2 buys to avoid any further trouble? It turned out that the Richland County authorities weren't even investigating Andrew's disappearance. It was the campus police at the North Dakota State College of Science that were heading the investigation. This, by all accounts,
okay, so I misspoke earlier. It is he's in North Dakota, not Minnesota. Okay, he's at a North Dakota university. And I just saw Seahawks fan. Thank you so much. Doing a great job, Kim. I appreciate you. Thank you. You guys are so nice. So much love from you guys.
appreciate you. Thank you, 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 thank you for the support. Thank you.
If one's still in here, that's the peep. That's the little peep detective for you. Thank you, Seahawks fan. Oh my goodness.
Everyone is odd. Campus police were tasked with ensuring the safety of the students and dealing with inappropriate behaviors on campus. They were severely ill-equipped to investigate a missing person. The weeks passed on, and Andrew's family continued their searches for their son. His friends continued driving around on their own to search for any sign of him, but nothing was found. That was until June 27th, 2014, almost 2 months after Andrew disappeared. Police were conducting diving training exercises in the Red River when they discovered a body. Dental records confirmed that the body was that of 20-year-old Andrew Sadik. His body was discovered in the Red River, just north of Breckenridge, Minnesota, which is only about a mile from Wahpeton, North Dakota, where Andrew was attending college. When Andrew was found, he was still wearing his backpack, and it was filled with rocks to weigh his body down. There was no sign of his black and red hoodie. He was wearing a blue jacket that none of his family and friends recognized. Andrew's wallet was also missing from the scene. Andrew's cause of death was a single gunshot wound to the head, inflicted by a .22 caliber weapon. That weapon was not at the scene where Andrew was discovered, and it has never been found.
What do you think they're going to rule the death as? Accidental drowning? They couldn't do that because I'm not laughing at the situation, but I'm laughing because all the Idaho cases are just cases around the country where they're like, oh, it was an accidental drowning. Yeah, they're going to say he did it to himself. And, just look at the situation. There's no weapon. How do you do that to yourself with no weapon left behind? Yeah. So it really, come on. He went out to do the buy that the sheriff asked him to do. Why would he have different clothes on now? Because they probably had him take off his shirt and they found the wire, and this was the result. Because remember, he had to go up to someone higher than him. And the higher you go up with those dealers, I'm sure they're going to have more paranoid. It's a greater risk to them, and they're going to check, right? Hello, Lisa. Hello.
Toxicology found no drugs or alcohol in Andrew's system. From the moment Andrew's body was found, authorities suggested that he had taken his own life because he didn't want to face the consequences for not completing his agreement as a confidential informant. Campus police asked Tammy and John if there were any guns missing from their home. It turned out that there was a .22 caliber pistol missing from their garage, the same caliber as the weapon that killed Andrew. But Tammy and John were unable to pinpoint exactly when the gun went missing. The discovery of the missing gun only bolstered the opinion of authorities that Andrew took his own life. But the theory doesn't add up with what we know about the scene where Andrew was discovered. If Andrew had taken his own life, why was he wearing a backpack weighed down with rocks? And more importantly, where was the gun? 2 months after Andrew's body was found in the Red River, his manner of death was declared undetermined. It was unclear whether Andrew had driven his car when he left his dorm in those early hours of May 1st, 2014. But after he was reported missing, his car was located, still parked at his dorm building. When Andrew's parents went to campus to recover the car, they opened the trunk to find the carpeting soaking wet. On top of that, they found several inches of water sitting in the spare tire well, and they of course found this bizarre. Someone reported to Tammy that they had witnessed people at the Red River the night of May 1st, 2014, hosing down a car that matched the description of Andrew's Mazda. But unfortunately, there has never been any confirmation as to whether that vehicle was in fact Andrew's.
So, okay, here's probably another investigation that it would be interesting to see. And Meg, if you're still in here, I see you said you dove into this case pretty deep. Maybe you can answer this. Why would you be hosing out the inside of a car? Did they shoot him inside his own car and then they were hosing it out? Then we know there would be evidence inside that car. Did the police do anything with this car? Doesn't sound like it. I don't know. Did you find anything out about that, Meg? Yeah, self-inflicted. Yeah, but and then the gun teleported somewhere. These cases. This is sad.
In August 2014, just 1 month after Andrew was found, Tammy and John requested that North Dakota Attorney General Wayne Steneham conduct an independent investigation of SEMCA, the task force that oversaw Andrew's work as a confidential informant.
Oh, there you go, you guys. So I know that DA and Dago and some other creators have sent in letters about the Idaho case requesting investigations. And this family did that into this drug task force. So interesting. Yeah, right, Tomboy.
Investigation was launched into SEMCA's handling of Andrew's CI work in October 2014 by the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation. The official report for this investigation was released on January 27, 2015. The report detailed Andrew's activities leading up to his recruitment as a CI, specifying that Andrew was the target of 2 controlled buys on April 4, 2013, when he sold $60 worth of marijuana to a confidential informant, and on April 9, 2013, when he sold $20 worth. The report also detailed the consent search conducted in Andrew's dorm room on November 21, 2013, when police discovered a plastic orange grinder that Andrew admitted belonged to him. The report further details the next day, November 22, 2013, when Andrew voluntarily spoke with...
Oh my gosh, Susie, I just saw your comment that was your boyfriend. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I hope you're doing okay through this discussion. It's got to really be a trigger and sensitive topic for you. So you said that it was your boyfriend that they did that to, and 1 month later you found him unalived in his foreman work trailer with a fentanyl OD, and he did not use hard drugs. Oh my goodness. Were you able to get, if you don't mind talking about it, able to get like an investigation going into it? Was anybody on your side relieving you? I could imagine that would be very hard. The CI thing. Right. Yes. Yeah, they're starting to get laws now about the confidential informants. Seems like it's going state by state. I know what usually happens is once enough states get laws going, then they'll try to do like a federal law. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Deputy Jason Weber in a recorded interview and signed paperwork to become a CI. The investigation into SEMCA and its handling of Andrew's CI work found no mishandling or wrongdoing by SEMCA. On June 27, 2016, exactly 2 years after Andrew's body was found, Tammy and John filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Richland County and Deputy Jason Weber, alleging that they had failed to provide adequate information and training to Andrew for his work as a CI, and that they had deceived him by overrepresenting the potential charges and incarceration he was facing. The trial for this lawsuit was delayed multiple times, but in 2019, the lawsuit was dismissed. A judge had determined that there was no evidence that Deputy Weber directly caused Andrew's death, and that he found no apparent negligence in the handling of Andrew's CI work.
There you go, you guys. Another judge just making the decision. Can't go to trial. Sleuther 75. I was going to ask out loud about 10 minutes ago, where are you? Like, I thought I saw a comment from you come up somewhere. I don't know if it was like I was searching Discord, but I'm like, maybe you were busy working and couldn't get into chat today. I totally understand. But thank you for those 10 memberships. Let's see who is getting those. 10 memberships right here. We've got Yolanda Patterson, Kate Aretti, Mississippi Mud Pie, Paige Myrick, something like that. DBT, DB Tabe, something like that. Karen D, Summer Girl, Summer Thunder. Welcome in, everybody. New peeps, new peeps. Appreciate that. Greatly appreciated. Turning more people green in here.
Clock it. So I gotta say thank you, thank you. Clock it.
Big thank you. Big thank you. Welcome to the peeps. Unique peeps. This is infuriating, you guys. The judge just made the decision like, nope, no case, no evidence, throw it out. I wonder if they can I bet they're still going. Let's find out.
The judge also determined that Deputy Weber's statements to Andrew about the jail time he was facing were not deceitful, but rather a prediction of future events. The Sadik family appealed the ruling to the North Dakota Supreme Court, who ultimately upheld the dismissal.
Aww.
In December 2015, 60 Minutes interviewed another student at the North Dakota State College of Science who was also caught selling marijuana on campus. When that student was interviewed and recruited as a CI for SEMCA, he was told that even if he asked for a lawyer, it wouldn't help him. That student then promptly declined to become a confidential informant. After that, the student retained a lawyer and was ultimately sentenced to 2 years probation and required to pay an $800 fine. The student was originally threatened with 30 years in prison if he didn't agree to become a CI.
Yep.
After the 60 Minutes interview aired, North Dakota House Representative Rick Becker announced that he was working with Tammy and John Sadik to draft legislation inspired by Andrew's case and the 60 Minutes segment. And in February 2017, Becker introduced the bill as Andrew's Law. The bill passed the North Dakota House of Representatives unanimously. And in April 2017, the bill was modified slightly after law enforcement agencies expressed concern with some of the implications. The bill then passed the North Dakota State Senate with only one vote in opposition. On April 24, 2017, Governor Doug Burgum signed the bill into law in North Dakota. Andrew's Law requires law enforcement in North Dakota to provide potential confidential informants with a written agreement, known as an Informant's Bill of Rights, that details the risks an informant may face as a result of working as a CI. It also requires this written agreement to specify an informant's right to consult with an attorney before agreeing to become a CI. On May 28, 2020, a film called The Dakota Entrapment Tapes made its debut at the Hot Docs Canadian International Documentary Festival.
Okay, this is what the documentary is called, you guys. The Dakota Entrapment Tapes. I gotta write that down.
Directed by Trevor Burney and produced by Fine Point Films, the documentary is available to purchase on Prime Video. I watched it and I highly recommend it.
Oh, it's a film. Okay, I keep saying documentary. I don't know. She's calling it a film, but on Prime Video.
It was incredibly well done and offered so much insight from Andrew's family and friends. We may never know exactly what happened on May 1st, 2014, but it has certainly left everyone with endless questions. Where was Andrew going when he slipped out of his dorm room at 2 a.m. that morning? Was he going to another controlled buy because that day was his deadline? And if so, was he in contact with Deputy Weber prior to leaving his dorm? And the missing pistol from his family's farm. Did Andrew take that gun for protection? Was he afraid of someone he was buying from? And did someone find out that Andrew was a confidential informant? Most importantly, if police were so hasty to jump to the conclusion of suicide when Andrew's body was found, where was the gun that killed him? And why was he wearing a backpack weighed down with rocks? Where was Andrew's wallet and the hoodie he was wearing when he was captured on camera leaving his dorm? It seems clear that most people who hear Andrew's story do not believe he took his own life. His family and friends especially do not believe that to be true. Andrew was only a few weeks away from graduating college, and he had already been searching for a job. According to his friends, despite being unaware of his CI work, Andrew did not give any indications that he was depressed or having thoughts of harming himself, nor did he give any indication that he was thinking about running away or fleeing from potential consequences. On top of all of that, Andrew's brother Nicholas was tragically killed in a train accident nearly a decade earlier, and Andrew witnessed firsthand the devastation his brother's death wreaked on his parents.
Right.
According to Tammy and John, Andrew would not want to intentionally put them through that grief and heartache again. The bottom line is that everything...
I really believe that because, I have 2 children and one of them went through a horrible situation, and my other child that witnessed what it did to me and Carlos. I just know that the way that affected her, like she would never want to do anything to put us like in that situation. Like I agree with that, but oh my goodness. Like, let me see if she has any final thoughts here.
Everything we know about Andrew's death does not add up to suicide. Tammy and John Sadik have tragically lost both of their children.
Okay. She's just repeating things. So I wanted to share a real life example of how this goes down. The unfairness of it, the lying, there's no protection for the college students, and just speculating how if anything like this were involved with the Idaho 4 case, with any of the people that were in that house, there's another, I watched another confidential informant from University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and he got found out. They didn't use his real name, so I don't know who the real person was. When he got busted as an informant, like he was an informant. I know what they did. He got turned into a confidential informant. They sent him to go make a buy off of his a higher dealer. He does it. He leaves, and the cops go right in like minutes after he leaves. Like, duh. So they set him up. He got found out. So now he's a snitch. The whole campus knew, like everybody knew. And now he's got this target on his back. So can you see how that would, we want to talk about a target, right? Targeted house, targeted people. And in this real case of Andrew Sadik, the police won't own up to it. They're not going to come out and say, yes, here's what we did. They don't want liability. It might not be documented. Like we might not even be able to verify anything like that. They don't want records, right? In the case from the University of Massachusetts, it was a student newspaper reporter who got all the details. And he got the details because the mom of the victim, the kid, gave him everything she could. So I was just thinking about that with the Idaho 4 case. What if, I mean, it would have to be a parent. It would have to be a parent that has access to phone records or, documents that someone who might really be questioning things like we are, that would be willing to share with someone they trust. That's the only way that this other case from UMass Amherst was able to get found out. The reporter was able to FOIA things and also get things from the parent to prove it. But yeah, the police don't want to own up to what they do. Obviously, they get supported in court. And just changing laws seems to be the parents' only option. Also, in that UMass, those parents, the mom was really mad because the university had a policy that if your child gets a violation for drugs or alcohol, the parents would be notified. Didn't say anything about age. Just if there was a violation, University of Massachusetts at Amherst. So she was really mad about that. They didn't follow their policy. They did not call the parents and let them know, because her point was, if I would have been notified, I would have treated him as an addict or someone, my child needs help, I'm going to get him home and get him help. He would have never gotten involved in this whole CI shenanigans, and she lost her child also. And with her child, they were going to visit on Parents' Weekend, and that was tragic. They were the ones that found him because he didn't meet them where they were supposed to meet. But with that case, they don't really know what happened to him. But that was a 2020 episode. If you guys are interested, there's a 2020 episode. You can watch it on YouTube. I typed in, I think, College Confidential Informants. I just can't show 2020 on here. It'll get flagged. And I think it was with, there were 2 topics in one show, and this is the second half of the episode, and it was called Secret Societies, if you're interested. So everything, are you okay, Susie? Oh, I get what you're saying. Oh, I mean, you're okay with me. I don't know. I didn't see all your comments. You can delete them. You can go back and delete them. I think you can, right? I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Maybe the mods can give you some direction, because I didn't see everything that was being said. But please feel free to go back and delete anything you want. Oh, if I time you out for 10 seconds, Meg will do it. It'll delete all your messages. Lucy, all her comments. Okay. Yeah, I think you're okay here with everybody that's in chat, but be better safe than, I understand. Mods are handling it. We got you, Susie. We got you. Okay, so my final thought for today is that there has to be a reason for what happened in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022, and a motive for that. And I know that when you talk about murders like that being connected to drugs, everyone will say knives probably wouldn't be used, right? That probably wouldn't be the weapon used. And I agree with that. I I think my next little issue with this case to talk about is going to be why I think that there probably were guns involved, right? I think we have evidence for that. So, yeah, I can address that part of it, but it's a targeted attack and there has to be a reason for the targeting. So I just think the topic we talked about today is a logical one. I don't know how possible, if anybody has really looked into that route. I think it's very secretive and hard to prove any of that. So it's a difficult one. It would be a difficult one just for us to try to prove. Someone with more access to records and things like that would have to look into that. So I just feel that there are too many circumstantial, questionable events and unknowns to rule it out, right? There's just too much that I showed today and shared today to rule that out. So I just wanted to share my thoughts about that and put it all together, kind of everything that's hanging out there, connect it around this one topic. And I hope that you got something out of that today. Let me know if you're watching on replay. What are your thoughts about possible confidential informant? Just that whole having confidential informants in this country on college campuses to begin with, the secrecy about it. Like there's a lot to be said about everything we talked about today. So, all right, I'm going to, before I go, make sure that everything got handled for Susie. Aw, I'm glad. Can one of the mods let me know if we're all good? And I'm going to end this. I'm sure Dago's going to be going live. We are all going to go over there. Thank you, Jessie Lynn. I appreciate that. Hey, Sleuther. I was so happy to see you today. Again, thank you to everybody who made a donation, super chat, the membership, Sleuther. I appreciate you. I appreciate that so much. All the mods in here, like as soon as I ask a question, everybody's like, you know, got the answer and willing to help and holding it down. You guys are so supportive. I appreciate you so much. Everybody in chat was having like great comments and discussions about this. I do appreciate, like I share personal stories all the time. So safe place to do that, but I understand it's, you know, it's on the internet. So hopefully we took care of that for you. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'll see you over at Dago's later. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't yet and on your way out. And I just saw, who do we got? Skull Mackay. We played his song earlier. He just donated one more membership on our way out the door. Let me see where that is going. If I find my studio, there we go. Thank you, Skull. That's so nice. It looks like, oh yay, the Holly Berry. I'm out, you know, YouTube chooses randomly who gets these memberships. And so if you're in chat and you don't get one, like I wish we could pick. So I'm always happy when someone who's in chat receives a membership. Thank you, Skull. That was so nice. So yeah, Holly Berry, welcome to the green team. Welcome to the green team. Yes, you get one even if you're not. And you'll get, if you're not in a chat and you get a membership from somebody's channel, you'll get an email that says that you got one. So, yep, that's how that works. Thanks for everything today, you guys. The support, the comments, everything. It was wonderful. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.
watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Happily unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.